Hey everyone, this week I'm coming at you with another episode of travel tips, and today I'm talking about some general money advice. First thing I would suggest to everyone before they go away is to have your money or credit cards, whatever, dispersed in different parts of your bag. What I mean is don't keep all your money in one spot, because if someone takes your things or tries to take them, they won't come across everything all in one location. And maybe if they take one thing, they'll leave and take that, and they hopefully won't find the other stuff. So you won't be left with nothing. A lot of people travel with one of these, which is a travel wallet where they can keep credit cards, cash, whatever, passport, whatever you want. What I would suggest to people is to have a second wallet or change purse. I did also mention this in my last episode of travel tips when I talked about handy or most useful items. This also applies here with money advice, because you don't want to keep all your stuff in one spot in case someone tries to take your money. It's just a safety precaution. And it is also nice to have a smaller wallet that you can take with you in your day bag, as opposed to, carrying around just bits of cash here and there. A smaller wallet or another smaller change purse. I honestly kind of travel with like both of these things as well as that wallet. So up to you really, but definitely have more than one spot where you keep everything. Next thing I would suggest to people for sure, especially if you're going away for a long time, is to have more than one credit card. Having a Visa and then also having a MasterCard will pretty well cover you. Most places don't really take things like American Express anyway, so I would probably suggest for those two cards, Visa and MasterCard. The first reason is that sometimes one place may take one card over the other for whatever strange reason. I've had it happen before, so just keep that in mind. Or sometimes one of your cards just doesn't want to work for some reason. It's good to have an extra one. The other reason why I think it's important goes again with theft. If you're out and someone takes your wallet and you had, say, some cash and your MasterCard with you, well, then what happens? Okay, you lost your MasterCard, but you can cancel that, and at least you know you have a backup card that you can use that you have back at your guest house or hotel. So having that backup is really nice. It makes me feel a lot more secure, just in case something were to happen and you were to lose it or get it stolen. It's good to have two. Since we're talking about cards, the next thing I want to talk about is to make sure you double check your ATM withdrawal fees of your bank before you leave, especially if you're going away for a longer time, because you don't want to get dinged by your bank every time you withdraw at a foreign ATM. You can usually check online or call your bank or go in and see what are the fees if you withdraw from a foreign ATM. Now, if there is a charge that they're charging you, I would try and switch to a different account. This is something I did ages ago, so I switched to an account where it doesn't charge me anything for those foreign ATM fees. So you can either do that. If your bank doesn't offer an option like that, maybe search elsewhere. There are other alternative checking accounts that you can open where they don't have a extra charge associated with taking out money from a foreign ATM. One thing to keep in mind though is that even if your bank is not charging you a fee, more often than not, a foreign ATM elsewhere is going to recognize your card as foreign and they're going to give you a surcharge on that for taking out cash. That's something you won't really be able to avoid, but you can at least avoid the charge from your end. Something to check before you leave. Another pro tip that I'll add in here is make sure before you take cash out wherever you go, ask a local person which bank or which ATM has the lower fees to take out cash, and they'll know better than you would. So before you start taking out cash, it's a good thing to do. Next thing I'll talk about is exchanging money at airports. Try not to do it, basically. If you need to exchange money, or rather if you're crossing borders and you want to get rid of the cash that you had, try to exchange it in the city before leaving for the airport, because airport fees are just a pain in the butt. Basically, before you leave, exchange enough so that you can get to your next destination. Or if you need to get money at the airport, an ATM might be better. Like maybe just get new cash of whatever that currency is that you need. Sometimes the charges at those ATMs might be high too, but it might be better than the exchange rate. So check the exchange rate if you need to exchange at the airport, but maybe an ATM is a better option to go for instead. And then once you arrive at your destination, you can find somewhere to change over that cash. That is my other tip in regards to exchanging money. Other thing I suggest to people is to keep some emergency US cash. Why is this important? Essentially, pretty much everywhere will take US dollars if you don't have their local currency, generally speaking. I have yet to go somewhere where they've rejected US dollars when I've needed to use it. It's also super handy for a few other reasons. One really common circumstance at borders for visas or customs to cross the border, they'll often have a fee, and they will usually accept US dollars because it's kind of like a global currency. So at borders, they'll generally take US dollars for whatever fees they're asking for. I also have used it when I'm in the middle of nowhere. One time I needed to buy a little hopper flight out of the town where I was staying, and there was no reception there. You can't book a flight online. So I ended up going to that little airport and purchasing there in cash instead. That was the only way I could do it. So good for that as well. The other reason why I suggest keeping the emergency US cash on you is in case you end up without your cards or they need to be replaced for some reason. Say you get your cards stolen and you have no money on you, that's going to be a problem. But if you have some emergency US cash you can exchange, that will last you for a bit and be a bit of a security blanket for you. How much US cash to keep on you? Maybe a few hundred, not too much because you don't want to lose it, but enough that you feel like, okay, this is a good enough blanket for say like a few days or whatever in case I need it. That's how I like to do it. Next thing I would say is lock up money if you can. If you have access, if you have free access to a locker at a guest house or whatever you're staying at, make use of it. That's why I've said before in my last video to carry around a lock, make use of that lock. I mean, I do generally believe that people, the majority of people are kind and decent and they're not out to get you, but unfortunately there are a few people out there that will try and take advantage of you at an opportunity that fits them. If you have free access to something like that, or even if you have to pay a bit, maybe it's worth it for you to lock it up. Depends how you're feeling, but that's something I would like to keep in mind. If you don't have access, at least keep those things out of sight, meaning away in your bag where no one can easily see and pick it out. Next thing, and this is my last thing that I'll talk about, is actually a question. How much money should you have on you at any given time? Firstly, this applies to ATMs. How much money should I take out at any given time? I think that depends on two different things. One, you want to figure out how much cash would you need in a given place. Do a lot of places take card? Then maybe you really don't need to have that much cash on you at all. And I would just have whatever minimal amounts. If you're somewhere where they do take cash a lot and you're going to be using it a lot every day, I would say take out at least as much that you need in maybe like a few weeks time if you're there for like months ongoing or something like that. Something that makes sense for the length of your trip, because you don't want to spend every day looking for an ATM and getting charged those stupid fees. In terms of how much to take with you on any given day, like a day trip or just a walk around town, rule of thumb pretty much anytime is just only carry around how much you will need for that time. So if I'm only going out for the day, I carry on whatever little cash I think I'll use and I'll need. Plus, I usually carry on one of my credit cards just in case I need it for whatever reason. If something happens to me, like if we're talking medical emergency and I need to pay for something right away, then I would definitely keep that with me for sure. So that's why I have a bit of cash, whatever I need, plus the card. That is all I'll talk about today in terms of money advice. I hope you found this useful. If you did like this video, please hit the like button, give me that thumbs up, and also subscribe. I'll be coming out with new travel tips and advice for people on an ongoing basis, and I hope that it helps you guys travel safer and have a meaningful, fun trip. I wish the best for all of you. Have an awesome week, guys. See you next time.